April 4th, 2017, Pepsi launched an ad it believed would define a generation. Instead, it nearly destroyed decades of brand trust overnight.
I would never purposely hurt someone, ever.
You know, we showed it to you yesterday, and it was Pepsi's controversial commercial that starred Kendall Jenner. And the ad shows the model interrupting her photo shoot to join protesters in the street, ultimately turning the outcry into celebration when she hands a police officer a soda. So critics called the spot tone deaf.
Within just 48 hours, Pepsi lost an estimated $2 billion in brand value. As social media exploded in outrage, hashtags trended globally, and celebrities called for a boycott. For a company that once symbolized youth culture, this was an unthinkable collapse.
So Kendall Jenner's just started her first ever Pepsi advert, and it is not going down well. Many people have taken issue with the way that Pepsi has used the language and the imagery of protest movements to sell a can of fizzy drink. But let's break this down. Number one, it compares a celebrity to an actual grassroots protester. The biggest concern seems to be the way that this shot of Kendall Jenner compares with the actual image of Alicia Evans in the Baton Rouge protests last year. One Twitter user sums up this criticism when she writes that the new Pepsi ad evoking imagery of Alicia Evans in Baton Rouge is total exploitative brand social activism BS. Pretty strong words.
Pepsi stock dipped 4% in pre-market trading, and within a single day, the brand was forced to pull the ad and issue an apology. The ad was meant to unite people, but instead, it united the internet against Pepsi. To understand how this PR disaster started, we need to look at what Pepsi was trying to do. In early 2017, global brands were under pressure to connect with Gen Z, a generation defined by activism, identity, and social justice. Pepsi wanted to join that conversation with its campaign called Live for Now, which aimed to link youthful energy with social purpose. So they turned to Kendall Jenner, one of the most famous models in the world, and produced a high-budget commercial featuring diverse crowds, protest imagery, and upbeat music. The ad opens with Jenner in the middle of a glamorous photo shoot. She sees a protest passing by, full of smiling, youthful faces carrying vague signs like "Join the conversation." She removes her blonde wig, wipes off her lipstick, and joins the march. As tensions rise between protesters and police, Kendall steps forward, hands an officer a can of Pepsi, and just like that, the crowd cheers. Conflict disappears. Peace, apparently, is restored through a carbonated drink. It was glossy, it was cinematic, it was supposed to show unity. But within hours of its release on YouTube and social media, the internet tore it apart. From Twitter, now X, to CNN, the message was clear. Pepsi had trivialized real protest movements, especially Black Lives Matter, by turning social pain into a marketing prop. Activist DeRay McKesson called it the epitome of tone deaf. Others said it was the worst corporate misreading of culture in a decade. Even Saturday Night Live mocked it that same weekend. Pepsi's intention was noble, to deliver what it called a global message of unity, peace, and understanding. But the execution? It completely missed the moment. The company pulled the ad less than 24 hours after release, a rare move for a brand of Pepsi's size. Their official statement read, "Pepsi was trying to project a global message of unity, peace, and understanding. Clearly, we missed the mark, and we apologize." Even Kendall Jenner herself was reportedly devastated. According to Time, she had no creative input and was blindsided by the backlash that quickly became global. Behind the scenes, internal reports suggested the marketing team was caught completely off guard. No focus groups, no cultural consultants, no testing, just a big-budget rollout aimed at going viral. And go viral it did, for all the wrong reasons. By April 6th, the ad had racked up over 1.6 million dislikes on YouTube, compared to less than 50,000 likes. Among millennials, purchase consideration dropped 8 percentage points in less than 10 days, one of the steepest declines ever recorded for the company. Even though overall sales didn't immediately crash, the trust in Pepsi's voice, its credibility, evaporated overnight. In a world increasingly shaped by protest and polarization, Pepsi thought it could sell peace in a bottle. Instead, it sold the perfect case study of how performative activism can destroy brand trust in a single day. April 5th, 2017. Less than 24 hours after the ad's release, Pepsi was facing a full-blown PR disaster. On social media, outrage turned viral. Within hours, the hashtag PepsiFail trended across 50 countries. Major publications like Time, The Guardian, and Adweek accused Pepsi of capitalizing on pain. Martin Luther King Jr.'s daughter, Bernice King, posted an image of her father being confronted by police with the caption, "If only Daddy had known about the power of Pepsi." That one post alone got over 160,000 retweets and became the defining moment of the controversy. But the real blow wasn't just online, it was corporate trust. Pepsi had positioned itself as a youth-centric, progressive brand, the voice of unity. Yet when the ad backfired, Pepsi's silence for the first 12 hours made it worse. CNN Business reported that internal chaos erupted inside Pepsi's marketing division. Teams were scrambling to approve statements, executives were on damage control calls with investors, and ad agencies distanced themselves publicly. When the apology finally came, critics said it was too late, too vague, and too polished. The fallout was instant and measurable. By the end of April, Pepsi's purchase consideration among millennials had fallen from 27% to just 19%. Their buzz score, which measures how positively people talk about the brand, sank into negative territory for the first time in a decade. Marketing Week later reported that Pepsi's brand value took a $200 million reputational hit in 2017 alone, while Coke's Share a Coke campaign surged ahead in engagement and favorability. Even more painful, Pepsi's biggest rival, Coca-Cola, quietly capitalized on the controversy. Coke's online mentions rose 36% that same week, with overwhelmingly positive sentiment. While Pepsi was being ridiculed, Coke's Taste the Feeling campaign was trending globally. In other words, Pepsi handed its rival the best free advertising week of the year. Behind the scenes, the emotional toll was massive. Kendall Jenner, who had never faced this level of public backlash, broke down during a later episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians, saying, "I feel like my life is over. I would never intentionally hurt anyone." Her career eventually recovered, but Pepsi's credibility didn't bounce back overnight. Ad Age later reported that Pepsi's internal morale hit an all-time low. Executives launched emergency workshops on cultural sensitivity in advertising. But the damage went deeper than numbers or headlines. For many, Pepsi had revealed a hard truth about modern branding, that corporate empathy can't be faked. You can't market social movements like products. You can't borrow pain for profit. By the summer of 2017, the story had faded from headlines, but not from memory. In fact, marketing professors across the US began using the Pepsi ad as a case study in what not to do, because this wasn't just an ad that failed, it was a warning that even billion-dollar brands can lose cultural trust in a single day. But here's the twist. Pepsi did recover, and the way they rebuilt their image says a lot about what brands learned from the era of outrage. By 2018, Pepsi quietly restructured its creative division. It shifted its tone away from forced activism and toward authentic cultural storytelling, music, sports, fashion, and nostalgia. By 2019, the brand doubled down on global partnerships, from sponsoring the Super Bowl halftime show with artists like J-Lo and Shakira, to collaborating with Bad Bunny and Beyoncé, and even expanding its Pepsi Black and Zero Sugar lines to meet evolving health-conscious markets. Each campaign was deliberate. No politics, no performative empathy, just energy, music, and entertainment. Pepsi's natural DNA. And the results? By 2021, Pepsi's brand value had rebounded to over $19 billion, according to Interbrand's global rankings. The company had fully recovered its pre-2017 perception metrics and regained its position as one of the world's most recognizable beverage brands. But the Kendall Jenner ad still lingers as a cultural lesson, one that marketing experts, journalists, and executives cite to this day. Because what Pepsi learned the hard way is that not every brand should try to fix the world. Sometimes people just want you to sell them a drink, not a revolution. And in a world where outrage spreads faster than soda fizz, Pepsi's story proves one thing, that even billion-dollar brands can stumble, but those that listen can still rise again.